I'm Ivan Pope. I run the Widget conferences around the world, and I've been doing internet stuff for almost 20 years now, more than 20 years. I think the key thing about Widgets is that fragmentation of content, breaking up of monolithic websites, and the ability to distribute whatever you want, wherever you want. In other words, the key promise I think of Widgets is that content will find the place it should be, rather than having to decide who your audience are and how to reach them. My proposal is that we just break up all our content into small parts, put it all into widgets, and let the world take those parts and embed them wherever they want to embed them. So I started a company called Snipperoo in 2006 actually, to basically build widget management tools. A very specific idea that there was a gap to be bridged between chunks of code on the one hand and destination pages on the other hand, and we didn't want to be hacking code into pages of HTML forever. Or lots of people would never ever see a page of HTML, would never cut and paste a bit of code into it. Lots of those issues have gone away over the last few years as other people have applied themselves in different ways to that same issue, but it was quite a big issue at the time. We started Snipperoo to build management tools, and we did build the Snipperoo tool, which was basically a system where you open an account where you can collect discrete chunks of code, as many of them as you wanted, and then you can assemble those discrete chunks of code into panels, and you put the panel onto your site through one line of code. And then every time you updated the panel in your account, it would update on your site. So it was like a way of short-circuiting that thing. You're always going to your site and hacking about with the code. So we had the Snipperoo site. Snipperoo was called Snipperoo because we thought it was snippets of code. The word widget came later after we started. People started calling these things widgets. So we started calling them widgets because everyone else seemed to be. And then I started blogging about widgets, obviously, as blogging was just getting going. I guess it was making strides at the time. So I became a widget blogger. Then, at the end of 2006, I got an invitation to speak at a widget conference in San Francisco, and I was quite staggered because it was very early in the day really for this whole space, but someone had put a widget conference together, and I went over and I did a little spiel there, and came back, and I thought it was so good to go and meet a whole load of people who all were interested in this space from different angles, a lot of big companies, little companies, other startups in the widgeting space, and associated issues. So from that point on, I really wanted to do my own widget conference, and I decided to do one, and then it took about a year actually from thinking about it to actually doing a conference which came to be called Widgety Goodness, and we did the first Widgety Goodness in Brighton. We called it Widgety Goodness actually. A woman called Susan Murnett, who's a blogger, was working at Yahoo at the time, wrote a blog post about all this widgety goodness that was around, and I just thought it was such a lovely title that we decided to call the conference Widgety Goodness. And I wanted to do a European conference. I thought, there's a lot going on over here. Actually, most of the key widget companies at the time, the NetVibes, the Page Flakes, were European, Israeli and European companies. So we pulled a lot of people over from those companies. People came over from the States, the Clear Springs and the Widget Boxes came over. We gathered a load of people and actually invented the European Widget Conference. And since then, the lovely Widgety Goodness Conference has turned into the Widget Web Expo Conference, which is not quite such a lovely title, and has been held in London and New York last year, and now we're just starting work on this year's events. So it's a funny sort of space. Is there still a widget industry? Is there a widget industry? I'm not clear that there is. Lots and lots of things are coming into the space now. Lots of problems have been solved. The problem that Snipperoo set out to solve originally has really gone away to a large degree, in that blogs started integrating widget systems, lots of third-party widget products came along, and we never really found our own niche in that way. But we move on, so lots more to do around that.